Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We're doing all of Zappa. I'm not worthy, but I'm doing it. We're going to get through it. We've got to Zoot Allures, or Zoot Allure. This one's a solo album, so it wasn't called The Mothers. And from here on, they were all Zappa albums. They were never titled Mothers. I suspect he realised that the name Mothers wasn't carrying any commercial potential, and actually the Zappa name was what was carrying it. It is in many ways the sequel to Overnight Sensation, as the songs are simple and accessible. Recorded properly as a solo album in a way, because it was basically Terry Bozzio and Zappa recording the whole thing, and then later people would come in and embellish the tracks. So rather than getting everyone to play it, he was playing it himself with the drummer. That may be the reason why the whole sound of the album is cold and lifeless. The other reason is I think the songs as well are just flat. There's no melodic stuff going on. It's a very cold record, and the production, obviously produced by Zappa, is kind of horrible. In the same way Overnight Sensation doesn't have very nice production, but this is almost worse. It just has a really cold sound. And some of these songs ended up being played live, but really the reason for getting the album are the two absolutely definitive Zappa works on here, which I'll talk about in a bit. But the rest of it is pretty forgettable. It has a companion album released posthumously. There was a live performance, Philly 76, very relevant because it features a backing singer who wasn't anything else, and it's a female backing singer, which you didn't normally have. So really, if you want to hear those songs, you're probably better off getting Philly 76. Controversial? Maybe, I don't know. But that stuff just came out better live. I mean, wind up working in a gas station, very cynical. You can see that stylistically things have changed dramatically since Bongo Fury, One Size Fits All, and the band's changed. It's a different band. Terry Bozzio is there, and he was on Bongo Fury as well, but the rest of the band have now changed completely. And this particular sound was really, when he was writing new stuff anyway, this style would remain until the end of the 70s. And obviously the albums after this featured stuff he'd already done. So, but it's an attempt at commerciality, that much is true. And he did it much more successfully on Cheeky Booty, much more successful, and this song is very typical of that. However, the second track is Black Napkins, which is an absolutely definitive Zappa track. It has to go in the top 10, probably. Great example of him writing lyrical guitar, which is almost something he said himself that he wasn't that interested in, but he was so good at it. Like with lyrics as well. I mean, he didn't really like vocals and wrote some fantastic lyrics. You can't do without Black Napkins. It's named after some horrible restaurant they went to where the napkins were black, but that doesn't have anything to do with it because it's instrumental. And the next track is The Torture Never Stops, originally known as Won't Someone Get Him a Pepsi? The original version with Captain Beefheart is a fantastic bluesy jam. Amazing that it wasn't on Bongo Fury because it would have helped it tremendously. Here he's trying to make it sort of slinky. I think he's trying to tone everything down to make things more commercial, but it just makes it boring. He's doing this whispering vocal thing, which doesn't really appeal, and obviously he didn't tend to do that live because the mics wouldn't have picked it up and all that stuff, but I'm not a fan of that stuff anyway. So much better live. And also on Philly 76 as well, it's better. Ms. Pinky is named after this device they bought, which was a head used for purposes, and basically the mouth was open on this plastic head. You'd pump it to make the mouth contract. Apparently it was just so creepy, and they'd use that on stage. So this song is named after that. It's got really heavy bass stuff going on, so that's cool. But other than that, completely forgettable. Find Her Finer. This one was played for years and years and years. It's alright, it's a silly song, and obviously the later versions are better, partially because of the sound. Friendly Little Finger is basically a guitar solo. I think, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think the drums and the guitar are actually from two different performances. They've been spliced together, and it works tremendously. It's one of the better things on the album, actually. Then we've got Wonderful Wino, which is a track from Back to the Flow and Eddie days, actually, but recorded here. It's alright. It's a riffy thing. It's pretty cool, and it's a bit more upbeat than some of the dreary stuff on here. Then we have Zoot Allures, less of the lyrical guitar, more of a sort of cool chords going on, very jazzy. Another masterpiece, though, really, and it's those two songs, Black Napkins and Zoot Allures, are worth the price of admission. The album ends on Disco Boy. It features the sort of high singing that's on Cheeky Booty. Very commercial, obviously it's making fun of disco and things like that. He did it so much better with Dancing Fool. It's just so cynical and cold, and as is the whole album, really. I think it's quite a misfire. Don't get that album. Don't get it. It's strange, it's a relatively famous album as well, so see you next time.